Hi all, welcome to the KP classes. My name is Vinay Unyal, and in today's lecture we are going to discuss about elements of art and design. So we have the 7 elements of art and design, which are line, shape, form, space, texture, value and color. So let's discuss about the very first element of art and design, that is known as line. So what is the meaning of line? Line generally known as a connection between 2 points. If I have these 2 points, I want to make a connection. So this is known as line. Okay. Line can be straight, line can be wavy, line can be zigzag, line can be dashed. There are so many different type of lines we have. Now let's discuss the very basic part of the line. The very basic 4 type of lines we'll discuss here. So let's start now. The very first is known as a vertical line. So a line which is moving up to down or down to up, known as vertical line, like this. It can be either up to down direction or down to up direction, known as vertical line. Okay. Now a line which is moving left to right, like this, or right to left, like this, known as horizontal line. So this is the second type of line we have. Now apart from this, a line which is moving diagonally, something like this or something like this, are known as a diagonal line. And the fourth type of line we have a curved line, which can move freely without any problem, like this. Okay, so these are the 4 type of lines we have. After using these type of lines, we can make different type of textures and other things as well. Okay, now we'll discuss more about lines. So would like to tell you one thing. First of all, there is a connection between a vertical line and a horizontal line. You should know this. So whenever you are making a vertical and horizontal line together, the angle between them is always a 90-degree angle. For example, I'm making here a horizontal line and making a line which is moving like this. If this angle is not 90 degree, it is not 90 degree, you can say it can be 60, 55, whatever it may be. If it is not 90 degree, then this upper line is known as diagonal line and this will remain same, which is horizontal line. But in this first picture, you can see this is a vertical line which is moving either up to down or down to up, and this upper line you see, it is known as horizontal line. Okay, now we'll discuss more about lines. For example, if I want to make a zigzag line, so what I'm going to do here, I'll be making a diagonal line like this. Again, one more diagonal line in a different direction, one more diagonal line like this. So a zigzag line is generally a combination of different diagonal lines. Okay, if I want to make a dash line, so a dash line is generally made of multiple horizontal lines, right? So this was a very basic thing. What is the meaning of line? You should know in a practical manner, and the type of lines as well. Okay, now coming to the next part, that is known as shape. The second element of art is known as shape. So what is the meaning of shape? Shape is actually made of lines. If we combine few lines together, we'll get a shape. It can be anything. Like for now, you can see there is a rectangle. So this is made of 2 vertical lines as well as 2 horizontal lines. Okay. Now if I'm wanting to make a very random shape, if I want to make a fruit or vegetable, like I'm making this mango, so you can see this is a combination of curved lines, the freehand lines, right? So shape is generally occupied by lines. It can be natural, it can be geometric. Okay, now let's discuss the type of shapes we have here. So generally, what type of shapes we have? We have two type of shapes. The first one is called geometric. Okay, so all the shapes which are human made, and generally we use the geometry box or the geometrical instrument to construct them, those known as geometric shapes. Like I have the triangle, and I have the square, I have a rectangle. These are the geometric shapes. Okay, if I'm making a circle, it also a geometric shape. Okay, because I have to use the geometric instruments to construct them. Now, apart from this, what other type of shapes do we have? We have organic shapes. Organic shapes. What is the meaning of organic shape? All the shapes which are natural articles. Like I'm making a cloud, I'm making a tree. I would like to make something which is actually the replica of natural article. Even the fruits and vegetables I'm making are under organic or natural shapes. Okay. Now would like to discuss more about the third element of art, the form. What is the meaning of form? First of all, I would like to explain one thing to all of you, that you should know the difference between 2D and 3D. Okay, so I'm going to make a picture here, and I would like to make one more picture here. Why we call specific image 2D image and a specific image 3D image? So you just need to see one thing here. In this first image, this vertical line we have, it is known as height of the image or the object, and this is known as width of the object. Now in the second image, we see the height is here, the width is here as well, but we have the third term known as depth of the object. You just need to simply count them. 1, 2 terms are here, that's why we call this 2D. And in the second picture, there are 3 terms, the height, width and the depth. That's why we call it 3D. Okay, it's very simple. Now coming back to the forms, what is the meaning of a form? Form is always a 3D element, right? So it is same as shape. We have two type of forms. The first, we have a geometric form, which can be a cuboid or a cube or maybe cylinder. So I'm going to make a cuboid over here. This is cuboid. So this is cuboid, which is a geometric form. Now if I want to make a pyramid, which is also the part of geometric form, because we don't see these kind of forms in nature. Now these are geometric. Okay, and let's talk about the organic type of forms. Organic are actually the natural forms. Organic forms. Organic form can be a tree, it can be clouds, or maybe the mountains. So this is the part of organic, right? Now coming to the next section, the fourth element of design, we have space. So I would like to explain this element of design by giving an example. For example, if you are wanting to make a landscape, I'm making here a landscape which has a tree, a house, kind of house, and I've drawn the clouds as well. So in this picture, what you need to understand, very important thing for you to understand, is that all these objects you see are the example of positive space. and all the examples you see, the background you see, this background is known as negative space. This is actually very practical element of art. You will learn how to use right space when you will be making something by yourself. So you should know some initial techniques to draw something by yourself. So for now, it's important for you to understand that we have two type of spaces, the positive space as well as the negative space. Okay, now we'll discuss the fifth element of art or design, that is known as texture. So texture is actually again divided into two sections. The first section we have, give me a moment. Okay, so I'm going to divide the texture part into two parts. So the texture we have, one is known as actual texture and second one known as virtual texture. Okay, what is the meaning of actual texture? You just need to understand, we'll be teaching you how to make some texture in a different class. That will be the class of maybe the pencil sketching or the coloring, but for now, in a theoretical manner, you should know what is the meaning of texture. So the actual texture is a texture which you can touch and feel. Generally for the sculptures and the murals and all the 3D artwork you see, the texture you can easily feel. Like it can be related to automobile design, it can be related to some idol making process, jewelry making process. All the texture you can touch and feel. And in generally the trade of visual art, when we make some texture, so that is known as optical illusion. Optical illusions. So what is the difference? Actual textures are, you can generally see them and also you can touch them, but virtual texture, you can see them but you cannot feel them. So for example, I'm going to give you a very good example for this, the texture. For example, I want you to make a tree. You know how to draw a tree, so you can draw the upper part as well as the lower section of the tree. Okay, so if you know how to draw right texture, for this trunk you will be adding a different texture A. For this bushes part you will be adding a different texture, that is like texture B. So it will look very hyper realistic. So the texture will help you a lot to make things in a very hyper realistic manner. Like somebody make portraits, so some portraits are very hyper realistic just because of the texture they are adding, the artist. Okay, now coming to the sixth element of art and design, that is called value. So you just need to see this. What is the meaning of value? Value stands for actually the intensity of pencil or the color we are using. It can be rhythmic blending we do. Like if you're going to sketch something, you will not make everything with same intensity. You will be using different intensities, like dark to light. One side will be darker, another side will be a little bit lighter. The same happens for the coloring. When you are applying any kind of color, whether like the watercolor, the oil paints, the pencil colors, this value is very much important. It is actually the intensity of the color or the pencil or whatever medium you're using in a different intensities. So it stands for the value, right? This thing also you will understand more in a practical manner when you will be applying this technique for your artwork. Okay, now coming to the next section, that is seventh element of design, that is known as color, right? So you just need to understand few terms related to color. Color is divided into sections. So first thing we have hue, HUE, which means the actual color. Okay, now next thing we have shade and we have tints, I'm going to give you a very basic example so that you can understand this thing clearly. I'm going to take this yellow color here. So this actual color means the name of the color. The yellow color you can see on the screen, this is actually hue. If I want to make a shade of the same yellow, I'll be adding black to it. So this one at the left hand side, you see this is actually the shade of the same yellow, right? Now what will be the meaning of tint? If I want to add a little bit white, and I'll get something like this, the pale yellow or the beige color. So this will be the tint. So in a very basic, or I can say the simple language, this is yellow color. Shade is always the darker than the actual color, and tint is always lighter. Okay, so we have shades and tints for every color, right? It is also very simple to understand. You will understand more in a practical manner when you will be applying some colors in your artwork. Okay, fine. Now here at KP classes we will cover everything. This is the very first lecture of elements of art and design. For more details you can visit to kpclasses.in, or also you can download our app KP Classes Exam Prep. Thank you so much for watching this video. Have a wonderful day.